Welcome back to The Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business, and chatting with Allyn Root. He is an author, multi-time best-selling author, a purveyor of capitalism wisdom, and a champion of economic freedom, and a great conveyor of information on the case for the low-information voting candidate, Donald Trump. Welcome back, my friend. How are you?
I don't know if that was a compliment or not. I think
it was a backhanded compliment on the last part.
It's okay. And Donald Trump should take it. It's okay, too, because he knows exactly what he is. I mean, look, I wrote a commentary yesterday that was all over the Internet, and it was how Donald Trump is brilliant in his fight with Megyn Kelly and Fox News. Anyone who thinks that fight is real, so many Republicans I know actually believe there's a real feud going on. There's no real feud going on. Donald Trump understands that this is brilliant marketing. It's like Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. It's like George Steinbrenner firing Billy Martin, the manager, twice in a season, and all they ever did was a comedy routine. You're fired. No, I quit. You're fired. No, I quit. Now you're rehired. And they all made millions from it, and Donald Trump is laughing all the way, not just to the bank, but I think to the White House. This is brilliant. No one has ever seen a master celebrity branding manipulator run for president before. This is like P.T. Barnum becoming the president of the United States, and I think it's going to work, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I think America's perfect for it right now.
I think he possibly could win. I have a couple of scenarios that actually has him either winning the White House or helping the Democrats win if he ends up feeling like he's mistreated and he runs independently and he does basically, torpedoes the GOP in 2016. I think it's a very good possibility if he feels mistreated. I already think he has been a little mistreated, to be honest with you. But I also think that he is the Democrats' useful idiot. I honestly believe that, who's gotten out of their control. I think he's been largely surrounded by big government, big business people for years, most of whom are liberal Democrats who have whispered in his ear that he'd be a great presidential candidate and clearly a more logical Republican one than a Democrat one, has been into that, and now they've got a Frankenstein he cannot control. Reality check is that Donald Trump was for a single payer system when it came to government health care. That's even beyond what we have today. Reality check, his discussions about international trade would lead to an environment like the 1929 Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act that led us to the Great Depression and later into World War II, which you know that as a libertarian. And so I get really concerned about those who are enamored at what Donald Trump could do. I mean, I guess from a Rothbard perspective we were mentioning earlier, getting us to a point of chaos where we go ahead and have to have liberty, yeah, maybe he's a good choice. But actually being a logical, peaceful path to liberty, I don't think so.
Well, let me give you a little different perspective. It's not that I disagree with all of what you said. There's no question his past life was big government, pro-government, grab as much government largesse as you can, pay off as many government officials as you can, et cetera, et cetera. But having said that, let me start by saying Ronald Reagan, I think by far, not that he was perfect either, I could tell you some things Reagan should have done better than he did, but he was the best president of my lifetime. I'm 54 years old. And Reagan was a huge Democrat and a Hollywood Democrat, and worst of all, a Hollywood Union Democrat who headed the Actors Union. So I don't hold someone's past against them. You never know how their thinking has moved, and it sure seems to me Donald Trump is saying the right things. It is forget the trade stuff, but in general, his thinking has moved towards anti-government and anti-Obama and anti-socialism and repealing Obamacare, not for a single-payer system, but repealing it for more freedom, and you can buy across state lines. So I think he's made a lot of moves and he's changed. But let me say this. Donald Trump is the Uber of politics. That's the way I think you should start thinking about him. Libertarians love Uber, as well they should. All capitalists should love Uber. It's the most disruptive technology I've ever seen. It changes and destroys the entire transportation model. It destroys the whole taxi industry. I never have to wait for a cab again. I don't have to stand at a cab line at an airport. I don't have to wait for hours in Las Vegas, where I live, for a cab to come to my home, because Uber will come in 3 minutes and they'll charge me 1/3 of what the cab would have charged. So it's this fantastic technology that blows up the old traditional technology. That's the way I think of Donald Trump. Don't worry about status versus freedom. Worry more about who's disruptive. Donald Trump is going to destroy both parties, which is good, and he's going to destroy Washington. I think he's going to go there and blow the place up. I think the guy is going to put people in prison. I really do believe if you're ever going to get a Hillary in prison or a Valerie Jarrett or a Barack Obama or John Boehner removed as the as the Speaker of the House, it's going to be because Donald Trump comes along, who can't be bribed, can't be blackmailed. Everything's already out there. Is the ultimate celebrity. He doesn't need your money, and he just wants to make people feel pain who opposed him. So I want to see some of these people go to prison. I'd pay the price of admission just for that. I'd elect Trump president with every doubt you've got if he would just stick Hillary Clinton in a prison cell with Huma Aberdeen. Let the two of them rot in prison for 10 years, and I will stand on the sidelines and give a standing ovation.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I guess we're going to, yeah, it's interesting to hear someone like you. Most of the people that I hear, I hear a lot of really sincere and I think fairly influential conservatives, not influential, but well-read conservatives, some of whom are now supporting Trump. You, I would have to say, is on the top of that heap, knowing your background. I find him frightful. And even though I savor the idea of Hillary going to prison, you know, Petraeus got in trouble for something that was a fraction of what Hillary Clinton did.
Right.
What she did was top secret emails. Any other person would already be not only facing indictments, but would be on trial. And this kind of arrogant, almost royal type activity of an 18th century nature that you can still get away with is shocking in the 21st century.
Well, here's what I would say. Let me be relentless again. Let me switch back to the power of relentless. You know, I'm relentless in going after Hillary because I think she's a real criminal and a dangerous woman. And Hillary, forget about the top secret stuff for a minute, where I think, of course, she belongs in prison. She broke every rule of our government. And all those, by the way, all those personal, classified emails were in the hands of Huma Aberdeen, her number one aide. And how does anyone trust her? I mean, am I missing something? That gal is from a family of the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. I'm not making stuff up, folks. The average person doesn't understand things like this are true. This is not an internet rumor. That doesn't mean she's guilty. I didn't say she did anything wrong. I just said that Hillary's number one aide is, her entire family is from Egypt, and they are among the leaders of the Muslim Brotherhood. If she's getting classified information that she isn't allowed to get, what makes anyone think that maybe, I'm just throwing an idea out there, she doesn't pass some of it along to her relatives, and maybe, just maybe, the Benghazi attack was because they knew exactly where Ambassador Stevens was, because Hillary's emails were on an open server in the back of a bathroom closet, and Huma Aberdeen had access to it. Everything that could go wrong with national security went wrong with Hillary, so she does belong in jail, and I think the best act now would be to arrest Huma Aberdeen and then twist her arm that she's facing 20 years in prison, and you have got to rat on Hillary in order to keep from spending 20 years in prison, and you watch how quick the dominoes start to fall. That's the way I'd play this game. Huma has got to be indicted, and she's got to be literally made to turn on Hillary Clinton, and I believe that can be done.
Huma Abedin, for those not familiar, Anthony Weiner's wife. And just for, by the way, I don't know, 20 more years with Anthony Weiner or 20 years of prison. I'm not sure which would be worse. But
listen, I'm not going to get too personal to people's lives. I used to say that has nothing to do with politics. But in this case, I think it does. Because Hillary and Bill have never been married. That's a marriage of convenience in order for both of them to run for political office. Neither one of them has ever loved each other. There is no marriage there. It's pretty well documented. Go to author Ed Klein. He'll tell you about the Clintons and what goes on in their life. Bill has spent time at Orgy Island. Come on, they're not really married. And suddenly it just so happens Hillary's chief of staff is with her side by side. They never move from each other. And she's Anthony Weiner's wife. Those two, and Anthony's showing his penis on social media. Those two aren't married either. Isn't that interesting? There's another marriage of convenience for political sake, so Anthony can move up in his career before all this happened, so he could look like a happily married man and a family man, and Uma could look like a happily married woman. Really weird people in government, folks. It just goes along with the narrative. I am libertarian. I don't care what you do in your bedroom, except in this case, what all of this is a symbol or a sign that the weirder you are, the more freaky you are, the stranger you are, which is not good for our government and not good for our country. Those are the people that are attracted to politics, who want control of your life and mine, while they're covering up what they're really like in the bedroom. Some really strange people in our government, and the Clintons are really at the top of the list.
Yeah, it reminds me, the Clinton marriage always reminded me of the Roosevelt marriage. You know, and Franklin Roosevelt was found in the bed of another woman on the night night he died. And she apparently had a lesbian relationship.
Yes,
and so, it's you don't get that in your American history class.
But I don't want to get into their personal life. But if your personal life is fraud, see, that's a different story. Then I think a libertarian can mention it, and it's okay, because you're committing fraud in order to get elected, and that's the exact kind of person that hires Jonathan Gruber to market your Obamacare program, which is complete fraud, and admits he had to lie to the American people about Obamacare in order to get it passed. They're all frauds in our government. And so that's the only reason I like Donald Trump. He's out in the open. No one's going to accuse him of cheating on his wife. He's on his third marriage, and his cheating was on the front page of the New York Post.
Yeah.
We know what Donald Trump is, but I think he'll go to Washington, and he's going to blow things up and put a lot of people in prison. And certainly, I think he's going to be a better choice than the people we've got now. That's just my gut instinct.
Yeah, I disagree entirely, but I appreciate the robust conversation. Wayne Allyn Root. By the way, your website, before I let you go again.
Sure, the website is root4america.com. All my political commentaries are there. And all my new videos are there. We just revamped the whole site. It's now a video website. So all my video commentaries for free at root4america.com. And my new book is The Power of Relentless. I think you'll love it. And most importantly, I'd say give it to your kids and grandkids, because they don't teach relentless in school. It's the only way to be successful.
No, they don't.
The Power of Relentless.
In fact, it is not in the government's interest to teach relentless.
No, but
it's designed to teach.
Taking our freedoms, right?
It's designed to teach people to be sheeple, is what it's designed to do, and it's designed to teach compliance, not revolt, which is what we need. Is a lot more revolt in this country. Thanks, Wayne Allyn Root. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Kevin. God bless.
All right, when we come back, much more for you. I do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usdatareview.com, and you're listening to The Price of Business.